G'day lovely people, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat, this will be my Knackers Yard. My voice works, for now. Welcome back. Quiet night of no booze. Antibiotics are crap. But it did mean that I got busy doing other things. Now the dog's been patiently waiting for me because I had a bit of a later start this morning. She's now happy because she's lying out in the sun, waiting to pounce on dog walkers. Nat got, I even bought a bed out when she sat over there. Jesus. Oi, dipstick. I've got your bed over there. No? You're happy where you are. Nat's been playing with cardboard. Hey bud. You alright? Yeah, I sat in front of the telly last night. Oh, dog, you're knocking the camera. I sat playing with cardboards last night, which was actually quite good fun. Quite enjoyed it. Now what I've ended up with is a really base prototype. It's really boxy because it's made out of boxes, but very difficult to bend cardboard. But what I've ended up with is the rough shape. So got the metal shape underneath, obviously, and the base plate. Just built it up, stuck some stuff on, and gone for, I want the seat as far back as I can get it because I'm a tall bloke, and frankly, if that hump is too far forward, it just pushes you too far forward. I don't have the technical expertise to bring all the gear back. Yeah, so I've pushed it back as far as I've got. Now, what I originally wanted to do was cover the mounting bolts, but the issue that I then get is having space to get a bolt in, so I think I'm just going to leave them. Now, I guessed at a line. I was doing this in my living room, not attached to the bike. You've missed. Only by a couple of foot, but you've missed. Yeah, so the slight issue that I've got is obviously you've got the bend of the frame going up, the main mounting point there, it's just a bit exposed, so I think I need to come a little bit longer / lower and then up. I've hacked the back off and it's not going to be square on top, it's cardboard, it's kind of what it does. So I think what I'm going to do is just try and graft a bit of cardboard on, take it, let me get a pointer. So take it along, try and obscure, if not cover, because I'm following the line really a bit too much, I think. Obscure, so bring this along a little bit longer, something like that. I still want to get to the bolt so I can bolt it up, weirdly enough, across like that, and then around, probably more like that than anything else. Now that's a bit flat and boxy at the moment, and I want it a little bit more domed, but I don't have I have metal bending capability, I have hands, but that's about as good as I get. So I'm just going to stick a bit of cardboard on there and have a bit of a hack, see how it looks. Dog always manages to get, I'll put a bed away, she's not going on it, she's just in the way, aren't you, mate? I can't put my camera down because your arse is in the way, dog. So I've gone for a bit of a flatter line. Now the one bit I didn't show you actually was my battery, which is part of the reason for that scoop at the back. So the battery's there, and it gives me about to the end of the original piece. I mean, this is just gashes. It was a guess at the best of times. It gives me about to the edge of there to get to. Now, I don't want a flat down edge. And actually part of the reason that number plate was there was because I was looking at, you know, keep it wide enough to get the number plate in. Means I'm not doing anything, you know, stupid like that. Don't know yet. We shall see. Doesn't give me a lot of bend, but we'll see. But it does mean that I think I want a bit scoopy DVD. I did have some French curves somewhere. It's just annoying me. I don't know where I've put them. Yeah, so what I think I'm looking at something like, I need to go quite that far back. It needs to be about that far back. It's something. I want to clear the bulk of the weld, because that gives the structural strength behind. So it's something between there. That's obviously not a something. Bit essy. Alright. I think, oh no, it's up to there, isn't it? I mean, I could just go for it's a little bit blunt now. But I don't think I need to make that decision yet. In fact, if I go like that, then I've got my template, haven't I? And I can play with that later. Right, so what I've got is a really rough outline. Now, as far as that gap's concerned, that's more than big enough for me to fit the CDI in, which is good. So that'll be, you know, you see, indented in. My fuse box is a bit broad, but I think I've got plenty of space around the sides, around it. You know, tons of space type thing. So I don't need to get it under the seat if I can't. Now what I'm going to try and get is a seat mechanism. So what I can do, rephrase, foam's obviously going to go on top, but it's not going to go straight on this. It's going to go on a plinth, on a base, and then that clips on. Now how it clips on, you know, the simplest way out of the lot is Velcro. But it's a bit wanky really, isn't it? So I think what I'm going to try and get is, you know, a seat mechanism, a clasp, a lock. Although I'm probably not going to put a lock in it, I'll just do it on a cable. But so it'll clip in on the top and cover up all the electrics, all the fuse box, and you know, and everything else. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do now is take this apart. Take it apart, cut out the templates, cut out the sides, and just start having at it a little bit and see what occurs. Right, so that's a couple of these cut out. This is even thinner. It's probably too thin, frankly. But yeah, so squish two sheets together, cut them out against each other, so at least they're symmetrical, or as symmetrical as Nat can make them anyway. And try and tack them on a bit now. At least tack one on. And fuck it, I don't know. I'm making it up as I go along. Let's see how we get on. Getting there. Right. Propped up by an explosive can. Really the sort of thing you need to have while you're welding. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Absolutely none. But it's starting to take a bit of shape. Now I think what would make the most sense to me is to try and get the other side on as well. Try and keep it roughly even that way. Now I've only tacked up, you know, to halfway because I need to bend and shape and bend and shape and bend and shape as I go. I think is the way forwards. So that from the bottom, which is fucking, which is some nasty shit going on there, but see where we end up. Don't know unless you try, do you? So I'm probably just going to bang you on fast forward again. In fact, I'll drop you back in because I'm burning battery. Still supervised by the dog. I think I'm getting somewhere. It's a bastard to weld because it's so thin. But it is just tack, 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 tack. It seems to be holding. Got a bit of a bend. I put a bit of a bend in. It was getting a bit straight up. I've now just got to work out a cap. Way too much on the back here, so that's all coming off. Don't worry. Work out a cap. That's my fake battery. So I've got to clear the battery over the top. Just wondering how much of a bend to put in it. It's starting to look a little bit like the CP400 back actually, which isn't a bad thing at all. I can measure in and cut in, hack in, and everything else. I don't want a straight line, do I? Do I? No. Where's my? I did have a straight line. Now that was, you know, a guess at best. I think I want a bit of a curve out there, but make upholstery a bit tricky. No, fuck it, that's going to look better with a curve. Yeah, let's do that. So I want that with a curve. Let's see how we get on. It's all experimenting, it's just got cold. My hands are bloody freezing. Yeah, see how we get on. Right, we've got a lid of sorts. God, this has taken forever. So I've taken the ends off and given them a bit of a rub down. I've kept as much structure as I can, so as much join between the two frames, because I don't want to make it any weaker. I just wanted to really, you know, hanging out extension pieces as much as anything else. I've got a lid on my box. It secures, which is nice. Doesn't look too bad up the top. my welding is pants. It'll get better, but you know, it's the reason I went for a metal option on this is as practice as much as anything else. So I've got a fold. Obviously I've got straight down at the back. Now that ain't going to work. There's no clearance there, but it's easier to cut than to add. So I've left that there. It's going to come up in a, you know, in a hoop of some variety, but I've just run out of time. This just takes so fucking long, particularly when you don't know what you're doing. And I'm learning. This is a learning experience. So any experienced fabricators out there, be gentle. I'm working my way around it. It's going to take a shitload of filler. Filler and paint makes me the word or I ain't. Battery just about goes. Or my mock battery. I did make my mock battery slightly larger than the real one, you'll be pleased to hear, and the real dimensions. So and I have ordered one, so that should be here midweek, so I'll be able to see how that fits. Now I do need to fill in. I can't fill in obviously all the way up because I'm not going to get the battery in there now. So I need to work out a way of doing that I haven't yet, to be honest. Now whether or not that's leaving. I could just leave the whole tray as is, have something for the seat base to sit on. I don't know. I was intending to weld, you know, a plate up to here which I'll probably still do, to be honest, then come up with something at the back. I don't know. Any suggestions, please feel free. But yeah, I've got a shape. It's a bit boxy, but it'll do for now. In fact, it'll more than do for now. It does look like my old CB400 back, actually, which is strange. Wasn't intentional. Where's the other pre-cut one? Right, I did, and you may have noticed, I can't remember if I filmed it. I did think, actually I can get rid of the boxiness by cutting an arch out the back, which is what I did on first attempt. But then what I've forgotten was the battery to go in it, isn't it, you dickhead? So I cut the first one, was just about to weld it, went for a check again. Oops. So I can't do that. I might be able to do it a little bit, put a bit of a loop in it, because that battery does go, what, 20mm back? I don't know yet. I'm going to wait until the battery proper is here before I do that too much fettling. But that's nice and snug in there actually. I was worried about how I was going to pad it so it won't rattle. I think it will hold it quite nicely. And obviously I'm going to need a shitload of filler and a shitload of shaper. But actually, it's not too bad. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not perfect. It's not too bad at all. I'm quite enjoying this. I really am. It's a first. I've not fucked around with sheet metal like this before, as you can tell. But I'm actually quite enjoying, a little bit of a fuck around. There's a few bits I still need to do, so I'm going to have to box this bit of the front. I'll use that actually. Front a little bit, because obviously don't want sticky outy shardy bits around your centre of your legs. So I'm going to have to box over the front. It's how far I bring it back. Maybe to like battery height there, so your main body weight, if you like, is supported by a solid metal structure, which would make sense to me anyway. But yeah, what I'd hoped to do today was fuck around with the carbs a little bit and see if I can get it to, oh thanks, I think it was Dan Barnes actually, but there was certainly a suggestion that maybe the float heights are making it run a bit quick. I did do a slight cuff, and I do need to get those drain bolts out. The middle two, the outside two are functional, but I do have 4 replacements. I was going to do that today, but I've just got 2 into this, and then went out for a calf lunch with the missus and the kids, which makes me realise I've bred very, very middle class children, because I had to keep correcting them from cafe to calf. But hey, I don't think that's too fucking shoddy, frankly. Now, there's still bits that I'm not convinced the angle, I'm not convinced of the dangle, I'm not convinced that's not going to work. Sorry, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. It's going to have to come up. I've got a lot of fettling to do. But as far as a base outline's concerned, I think that'll do me as a starter for 10. Yeah, we're getting there. We'll see what happens. It's a fuck around. We'll see how it works. Yeah, happy with that. A lot of fucking around to do, and we'll see how we go. But it's starting to take a bit of shape. Cool. Right, that'll do me for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you later on. Ta-da.